Hello guys, how you guys doing? I'm doing all right. Thank you for tuning in to my second tip video for CNA. I will be sharing some tips with you guys that I believe would be beneficial in any type of field that you're in. Even if you're not in the medical field, if you're serving humanity, these tips will be beneficial. Thank you for the ones that have subscribed in the past 3 or 4 days. I see you. Thank you. Welcome to the family. I appreciate you subscribing. If you find this video informative and you know somebody that's in home care, that is a home health aide or a CNA, please share these videos with them. I will appreciate you, and then they would, depending on the situation they're going through, they will know they're not alone, and these are the steps to take to make your job safe, and you're meeting your client's needs, and your boss, supervisor, house supervisor would know what to change and what to correct and how to make the team a better team and serving your client. So my first tip I have is sharing any new information that you see with your client. If you notice that your client is not their self that day, they look disoriented, they look drowsy, they look sick, report it to your supervisor, because at the end of the day, something so minor can become so major in a short amount of time. If you see the routine that your client have, you came in and your client said the routine was not followed, then I advise you to report it, because at the end of the day, the office, your supervisor, the agency would know and be aware of it and can see what caused your client to, not follow their routine. And sometimes something simple as their routine is not followed, it could just set things mood to a different level. And it could be more agitated, more irritated with you, aggressive, even competitive, like they would hit you. So those things you should report. Another thing where something small could become major, I have this one experience where my client has pre-packaged medication, and we don't administer the medication. We put the medication either in applesauce or a cup, give them a beverage to take it with the medication. And unfortunately, the person that was before me tear the package that I was supposed to administer that morning. And when I gave the medication that was already opened, they started backwards. So they started at the end of the month and started at the beginning of the month, and it looked like I wasn't giving the medication to my client. I was, but I wasn't giving them on the correct date because of what the previous coworker did. So it was a report saying that I wasn't preparing the medication and my client wasn't taking her medication. And I explained to them what I just told you guys, and they did their investigation, and they realized I was telling the truth. And plus, there was another situation that happened. So at the same time, it just proved what I was saying was accurate. So yeah, there was a little tear, and I gave the medication that was already teared, but it came around saying that I wasn't giving the medication, which is major, because medication, she needs those medications to sustain her, to have a good life. So anywho, the next tip is to speak up about your client's safety. Why am I mentioning that? There was one time where a coworker was bringing her significant other to the job, to the work site, and it wasn't an issue at first. Again, something minor. It wasn't an issue, but it was kind of like, this is not your house. This is the client's home. This is the client's property. You shouldn't just bring anyone into the house, sitting down, having dinner, whatever the situation may be. You can't do that, especially if you don't know that significant other for a long time. So when I was off that weekend, I came back, there was a story which was, very serious, because we had a meeting, and law enforcement was involved. But basically, the significant other, they were not together anymore. The significant other was very aggressive, violent on the property, and it was a threat to the consumers, and law enforcement had to get involved. So after that, they had a staff meeting that following day and just explain to us, this is what we can't do. We cannot allow strangers to come into our client's home. You may know the person, but the client doesn't, and it's not safe for them. And also working with different type of client, change is not something good. They tend to, that triggers them. It changes their mood. So if you see something like that, report it. I know using chemicals with high fumes can trigger someone that has asthma, that has COPD. If you can talk to your coworker about that, if they could lose like a cap full instead of a half a cup, because some people think more is better, but actually it's more harm to yourself. So using a cap full of bleach, ammonia, guys, mixing ammonia and bleach is horrible, so don't do it. So bleach and ammonia, especially if you're cleaning somebody's house, don't do it. Don't do that at all. That's like poison. Bleach and ammonia is poison. So if they can use a capful, or if they're cleaning, if they're going to use bleach, let them only use bleach in a capful. But if they're using pine salt, fabuloso, tell them to put a cap full of it, because again, working with client with compromised immune system is not a good idea for you to use chemicals in a whole quantity of it. The second tip is to make sure you know your assignment. If your assignment changed for that day, you make sure you ask your house supervisor, your supervisor, what they want you to do specifically, because you notice a change on your assignment. Yes, you can understand. Yes, you read it on your assignment sheet, but you want them to explain it. So if something that that is really important, you want to get that done, that change done, then go to the normal routine. Or if it's something minor, you make sure you want to get to it and make sure you do it, because something minor could become something big. So I got a guest that want to say something about how to treat your client. They're gonna come now and let you know what was the next tip. You could go around. You could go on the other side. No, go around. Go.
Okay. Right here. Always be nice to your client. So the reason why I said that, because sometimes, this other client, like, this happened something a long time ago from her. This client was, apparently, I think you said he's smoking until. So I don't know if that client was smoking being to our client, but it really hurt one of the client's feelings. So you always have to be nice to your client and always love them.
Thank you.
Be nice.
Thank you. Because they're a part of your family. They become a part of your family because you work with them every day.
Kind of. But.
Thank you for sharing
and
that.
always be nice to your members.
Okay, thank you. All right. So, as you were saying, be nice to your client. Now, if you know your client don't like a certain meal, don't cook the meal. If they don't like chicken with bone, don't cook a chicken with bone. Cook
like just the
chicken.
Regular meat.
Wait, how you say that? Boneless chicken. I couldn't think of it. Boneless chicken.
No bones. It's just no bones.
Yeah.
It's just gotta be a pure chicken.
Okay. Just cook a chicken that's boneless, because at the end of the day, they told you, and if you're doing that and you know that, it's just being mean to them. If they're sleeping, respect their nap time, and don't be rude and loud. Don't be rude and loud. And the other thing is, don't cuss at them. Don't tell them to shut up. Don't call them out their name. Don't tell them don't call them stupid. Don't call them slow. Don't be aggressive towards them, because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, they're not. It's not their fault that they're not able to do what they used to do. So don't be mean to them. Okay. So the next one I have. Um. Okay, wear gloves. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish all of this. I think this is gonna be another video. Guys, wear gloves. You do not know how other coworkers clean. You don't know how they clean. You don't know how they sanitize things. You don't know if they wear gloves themselves when they're cleaning and when they're taking care of your client. Oh my God. Guys, this is not a makeup story. I was in a house with another coworker of mine, and they were cleaning this client, and this client had diarrhea, full-blown diarrhea, like leaking through her clothes on the wheelchair. The whole house was smelling like it. So, it was kind of overwhelming. And just knowing that I come from a nursing home where you have that on a normal basis, so I offered to help. Well, actually, they asked me to help, and I said, okay, I can help, but I was doing more than what they asked me to. I was getting their clothes, I was getting everything that they needed set up so they could take care of the client. Guys, as this person was wiping the BM out of the other client area, they had no gloves on. No glove, like bare hand, bare skin, touching that other person's bodily fluid, and the diarrhea was all over their brain. Guys, wear gloves. And this client worked in hospital. No, not client. This individual worked in hospitals, was in their, I guess I want to say, early 50s, mid 50s, or maybe older than that. And they said that when they used to work in hospitals back in the day, they never used to wear gloves like that. And I'm like, I don't know how accurate that is. If you know somebody that used to work in hospitals, I'm talking about in the 1980s, 1970s, 1960s, and they never used to wear gloves, let me know, because maybe I'm just kind of like germophobic when it comes to that. So maybe I could be wrong, but they say they're not used to wearing gloves in everything they do. So as I said, you just don't know how other coworkers take care of their clients and how they clean and sanitize things. And guys, that person made dinner for them. That after they finished cleaning them up, they was making dinner for them. And this goes down to make sure your client
Make sure your client is healthy.
Actually no. Well, the next thing I want to say, make sure you don't eat your client's food. You don't eat the food that's in their home. That's another tip. If you have other people coming into that home, into that group home, and again, you don't know how well they sanitize, how well they clean, and if they're, they follow, it's a name for a universal precaution when it comes to food, then guys, I advise you do not eat the client's food, because that same person that was wiping that diarrhea off of that client with no gloves was cooking the dinner for the other two clients that was in that house. And I was very, very, very nauseous because the poop was yellow, orange. I'm sorry if I'm describing it, but I'm just having this, like, I'm looking at it, like, I'm thinking about it and feel like I'm looking at it right now, because it's just clear as day in my brains. Like, I cannot forget that. Like, I cannot. Like, I understand if we didn't have gloves, I can understand, but there was so much gloves. I gave her the gloves. I had gloves in my hand, and I wasn't wiping her client. She said no, she don't need no gloves. So she was the same person that was cooking the food, and I just feel like you shouldn't eat your client's food, because one, you don't know their income monthly. Sometimes it could be that only meal that they will have that day, or if they don't go grocery shopping online because maybe they don't have government assistance. They don't have financial assistance from their family, and when it comes to food is very, very slim. So don't eat their food. Sometimes they could have that financial assistance. They could have, food to feed the whole block, but it's their food, it's their rule. Don't touch it. It's just disrespectful because it's just like somebody come to your home and just going in your refrigerator and just eating all your stuff. And the reason why I said that is because I have encountered co-workers that go grocery shopping in a client's home. Like they will take all their drinks, all their colas, all their Pepsi, all their Mountain Dew, ginger ale, and all their frozen food that they may like for their family. They would literally take it and go home and cook it for their family. And the reason why I mention this is because the ones that do not steal, take their food, is being held accountable. So, and it goes back to the first thing I was saying. I think I'm gonna end off here. Speak up, because when stuff like that happens, at the end of the day, since you don't participate in those type of activities, you are the one that get looked at funny, and if you don't speak up, you are going to be the one that they accuse of stealing. So again, I feel like those tips that I had mentioned, I have a bunch more, but I don't know if you can see it. Oh. I have a bunch more, but since it's 16 minutes and I don't want to make this video too long, I feel like the two important things on this, well, there's several important things that I had mentioned, but the ones that stick out to me is speak up, share the changes that you're seeing, be kind to your client, take your client as a family member.
That's what I said.
Yeah, be kind to my guest. Be kind to your client, and what else? Wear gloves. Wear gloves, because you just don't know stuff. You just don't know how other coworkers clean, and sometimes there's clients, they don't, they're not all there because they have the dementia, whatever they may have. They do silly things. And sometimes when they do silly things, you can't really, not clean up after them. You cannot just let the situation stay the way it is. You have to fix it. You have to, sanitize it. So, wear gloves as you're doing that. And don't be aggressive. Don't be irritated with them, because it's not their fault. It's, it's the circle of life. So, thank you for watching my video. I hope this was informative. I'm gonna try to be a little bit more straight to the point, and make the video less time. But until then, this is what I'm able to do. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't. If you went through this whole entire video, listen to the tips, let me know, comment below. Like this video.
And like my comments too.
Like the video, so the algorithm, I think that's how you say it, can go up. Thank you. I love you guys. God bless you all. Stay tuned to the next one. Bye.
Bye, guys.